Show's Autocomplete, your weekly roundup of the biggest news in the automotive world. This week, we have news on FCA's fix for death wobble, the new Shelby GT350R, and Minneapolis's drive-thru ban. But first, let's start with a woman implanting her Tesla key into her arm. Now, listen, carrying a big old key ring with a bunch of keys on it can suck. I mean, just ask a janitor. But companies like Tesla have made that unnecessary, at least for your car, by putting the lock, unlock, and start functions into their dedicated phone app, as well as through the use of RFID-enabled keycards. But for some folks, that's just not enough. One such person is software engineer and cosplayer Amy DD, who decided to turn her Tesla's valet keycard into an implantable chip and then had a guy named Pineapple put it under the skin of her arm. Frankly, we'll leave that kind of biohacking to video games and William Gibson novels. It looks like the city of Minneapolis is planning on curbing emissions by banning restaurants from building new drive-thrus. In addition to curbing human emissions, the real reason for banning them comes as an attempt to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from idling cars. Currently, existing drive-thrus will be grandfathered in and can continue to function, so the ban really just applies to new construction. Wireless charging is a pretty new thing, but the convenience of being able to set your phone down on a charging pad and not having to fiddle with a cable is pretty awesome. And BMW is looking to extend that convenience to its cars in the future. To test out the idea, BMW is running a pilot program for wireless charging on its 2019 530e Hybrid. The catch is that it's only available in Southern California to 200 people, and you will have to shell out for a 36-month lease on the electrified 5 Series. The cars are well equipped though, and actually using the wireless charging system should be as easy as parking your car over BMW's wireless charging pad. You know what car would rank really high on the list of cars that definitely don't need a price hike? Yeah, the Nissan Maxima. We weren't really fans of the model when we were last in it, and Nissan is having a tough enough time moving vehicles as it is, but according to their announcement, the company is bumping the price slightly so that it can add more standard safety equipment for the 2020 model year. Other than that, the long-lived 4-door sports car, that's finger quotes you're not hearing there, isn't getting any major refreshes, so, you know, there's that to consider too. When it comes to out-and-out performance cred, the Ford Shelby GT350R is no slouch. I mean, it comes with carbon fiber wheels and a 500 plus horsepower flat plane crank equipped naturally aspirated V8. It's the business. That doesn't mean it can't benefit from a few upgrades though, and that's exactly what it's getting for 2020. See, Ford is going to trickle some suspension goodies down from the yet-to-be-released 700 plus horsepower GT500. The 350R is getting new front suspension geometry, new steering knuckles, and a brand new steering rack for added sharpness. Get stoked, because this thing is gonna rip. Acura has been teasing its Type S concept for a little while, and we've been pretty into it. But now the company has decided to share images of it in its entirety, and hot damn, it's a good-looking car. The best part is that Acura's concepts tend to be relatively close to production vehicles, so the Type S is likely a fairly faithful representation of what the next generation TSX will look like, and that's awesome. We also expect that it'll have a version of the NSX's turbocharged V6 in it, sans the hybrid system of course, so that's something to look forward to. Car geeks like us tend to put Toyota, as it was in the 90s, on a bit of a pedestal. And that's especially true of the brand's legendary 2JZ engine that powered the Mark IV Supra. Now that we have a new Supra, people are curious if its BMW-derived B58 inline-6 can hold a candle to the boost-friendly and heinously stout 2J. Racing legend Steph Papadakis was curious too, so he took an engine out of a brand new Supra, pulled it to bits in anticipation of making a 1,000 horsepower fire-breathing monster. What did he find out? Well, you'll just have to watch and see. Do you want a cool, rugged-looking truck but have no real need for the added cost and complexity of four-wheel drive? Well, then Ford has the perfect truck for you. It's called the Ranger FX2 and it sports the same aggressive styling as the top-tier Ranger FX4, but does it without a transfer case. It also gets big off-road tires, an electronic locking differential, trail-focused suspension, and the best part is that the whole package can be had for just a hair under $600. As a bona fide city slicker, sign me up. Have you been eyeballing that sweet new Jeep JL Wrangler, but just can't get past the fact that there's no V8 options? Are its body proportions too narrow for your liking? Is it just not expensive enough? Well, friend, I have good news for you. The Rezvani Tank X provides a solution to all of those issues. It's packing a 1,000 horsepower Dodge Demon engine in place of the Wrangler's standard V6, It's got a new, bulgy, military-inspired body, and it costs an entire boatload of greenbacks when optioned out as seen here. Thankfully, somebody finally built something for the buyer who thought that the Mercedes G550 4x4 squared was just too damned sane. Death wobble is a pretty intimidating sounding term, and to be honest, the experience isn't any less terrifying. Death wobble occurs in vehicles with non-independent front suspension at highway speeds, and it has been the bane of Jeep owners for decades. But the company claims it now has a fix for the phenomenon that involves a new steering stabilizer. FCA has already started to send out notices for the repair to vehicle owners, so let's hope this actually solves the problem. Apple CarPlay has been a boon to drivers who don't feel like dealing with their vehicle's less than ideal manufacturer-created infotainment system interfaces. It takes the things you know and love about your iPhone, clean design, ease of use, Australian lady Siri, and ports it to your car with almost no hassle. It's been a while since CarPlay got a big update though, and that's coming this fall with iOS 13. We managed to get our hands on it early, and we had our very own Andrew Kroc walk you through some of the changes. These include a new day mode, calendar integration, and new looks for music and Siri, among other things. That's it for autocomplete this week. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay notified of all new videos on Roadshow, and we will see you again next